before we jump into factorizing numbers and finding their highest common multiple or the lowest highest common factor or their lowest common multiple, we first need to know what is a prime factor. So the word itself tells you it's 1 and me. So 1 is a factor and then itself. So for example, if we look at the number 2, it's a prime factor because the two factors it has is 1 and 2. If we look at 3, factors are 1 and 3, the only numbers that can divide into it without a remainder. If we look at 4, that is 2 and it is 1 and 4. So it's got more than just 2 factors. So this 4 is not a prime factor. So which numbers are? That is 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and so on. Only numbers that have 2 factors, 1 and itself. Now, another thing you need to recognize here is that a prime number is a small number. Okay, a factor makes a number smaller. So if I'm asking for the factors of 15, for example, that would be like 3 times 5 is 15. If I'm looking for the factors of 30, that we know that 2 can go in there, 3 can go in there, and 5 can go in there. Those are the prime numbers of it, the factors. But please note that they go smaller. Okay, so factors are small numbers. They go down. Now let's look at multiples. What is a multiple? Well, a multiple is a number that goes bigger. So it's skip counting. Okay, write it here. It's when we skip count. So for example, if I'm asking for the factors of the multiples of 5, you're just going to skip count. You're just going to count the 5s. 5, 10, 15. 5, 10, and 15. If we ask for the factors of, let's say, 30 now, we'll count in 30s. 30, 60, 90. But in maths, we do not have time to go bigger, to count so many times, and then eventually see what they each have in common. So we use our best friend, which is prime factors, okay, to break everything up. So when they're asking for multiples, always use prime factors because it's just so much quicker to get to the answer. So now let's look at how are we exactly going to do this. So firstly, when we start a question, always analyze it first. So here we can see highest common factor. Don't worry about this highest here. Okay. The clue here is we are going to use factors. So we are going to use the small numbers. So let's jump in. 450. We're going to break down into prime factors. Now before you start, just to make sure that you are not rushing it and using the wrong numbers, go write your prime factors down. 2, 3, 5, 7, and so on. So which one of these numbers can go into 450? Well, we know that it ends with 0, so 5 is going to be able to go in there. And 450 goes into there 90 times. So can you see what I did here? I took the number on the right, the answers. I divided by the prime numbers on the left-hand side. And then again, I go put it on the right-hand side by the answers. So let's carry on with that. So now we say 90. Which one of these can go in there? Again, that is 5 that can go into it. So 5 can divide into here. 90 divided by 5 gives me 18. Again, I go look which one of my factors can go into 18. See, that is 3. Now, you could have started with 2, 3, 5, 7, whichever one that can go into it without a remainder. You're still going to get the same answer at the end. So 18 divided by 3 gives me 6. Again, I can see 3 can go into there. It goes into there twice. 2 goes into there, and I'm left with 1. Now, 1 is not a prime factor, so that is where I stop. Next, I'm going to do the same for 125. So if I go write 125, which one of them can go into there? It's 5. I'm left with 25. I put 5 in again, and I'm left with 5. 5 can go into there, and I'm left with a 1. So that is where I stop. Now, this is not the end. So this means, now I have to go and I have to go list them. You always list prime factors. So let's start with 450. The answers to 450 was, let's start with the smallest one. So that is going to be 2 times, how many 3's do I have? I have 3 squared, so because I have 2 of them. And then I'm going to times it by 5 squared. Same I do for 125. I go and I list them. So here I have 3 of the 5's. Now, best way to write it is go write it directly under the 5's. So you have all your 5's in a line here. And where there's spaces, it's important to have them in line with each other, because you have to go and compare them. So you are going to have a space saver here. And to put that space saver, you just simply have to go put 1, because 1 is the only number that does not change anything. Now we go and we rewrite them. Okay, so we're looking for the factors. Factors, small numbers. So out of 2 and 1, which one's the smallest? That is 1. 3 squared and 1, it is 1. And 5 squared and 3 cubed, well, 5 squared is the biggest. And if you go calculate that, 1 times 1 times 25 is 25. So that is your highest common factor for 450 and 125. I'm going to take the same one and calculate the highest common factor. So that means I have to now go compare it again. Comparing it again, let me just see here, 450, I'm going to rewrite it over here so we see it nice and neatly. So I have 2 times 3 squared times 5 squared, and 125 was 1 times 1 times 5 cubed. So now, in this case, I have to now go look at my biggest numbers. If I'm looking for the lowest common multiple, because remember, multiples are big numbers. So between 2 and 1, which one is the biggest? That is 2 times 3 squared and 1, that is 3 squared. And then if we take 5 squared and 5, it is 5 cubed. So if we go put that into a calculator, we get 2,250. And that is your final answer. That will be the lowest common multiple. And see why we broke it down into prime factors? Because if you had to go and rewrite these numbers over and over and over till you found one where they are the same, common in both lines, it would have taken a lot of time. So it's always good to go back to your prime factors.